Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Portal Masters of all ages. Today we've got a little bit of a video that I want to show you and talk a little bit about the digital library on the Nintendo Switch version of Skylanders Imaginators. As you know, I did a couple videos right up front as soon as the game released, and about some of the cool features of the digital library. And there's still a lot of good things about the digital library, but I did discover something that was a little disheartening and kind of a big drawback for me, especially if you collect as many Skylanders as I do, which is pretty much all of them. And well, I guess we'll just go ahead and get into it. So right now I've just got Wildstorm on here, but I'm going to go into the digital library here, which is the Change Skylander, or I call it the Portal screen, Portal Power screen. And this is pretty much where all your Skylanders are stored. And first things I want to show you first is it took literally over 6 hours yesterday to load in everything that I've currently got loaded in. And I pretty much loaded everything in with the exception of like chase variants. I started experimenting with all my chase variants. A lot of them didn't want to load. A lot of them are in boxes that you can't scan, and you'd have to take them out in order to scan them to get them close enough to the NFC reader, either here on the Pro Controller like I have, or even on the Joy-Cons. So I said, you know what, let's just not mess with the chase variants. They don't appear that way in game anyway, and so we weren't messing with those. So I deleted them out, and then but scanned everything else, and it still took over 6 hours to do all this. What I want to show you right now, though, is I'm at the very end of my library. I'm going to scan through, just fast search through this, and show you how long it takes to get to the very beginning of this. And we're going to set a timer as well, so you'll be able to kind of see what's going on. But we're going to go ahead and start now. And I'm just going to completely scan through this. When I get to the very beginning of the list, I'll actually show you that I attempted to scan all of these guys in a specific order in order to try to have, be able to find them a little easier. If I scan them in a specific order, it'd be a little easier to go back. If I'm looking for a specific one to play with, I should be able to find it relatively quickly. But as I'm scanning through and I'm putting them in, of course, each time you scan it, you have to scan it a second time to unlock it completely to where you have it to use on the fly, and you don't have to scan it again there. And there were some troubles here and there. There were some that didn't want to scan, and I was having problems getting them to scan. It's not the Joy-Con NFC reader and the NFC reader in the Pro Controller are not quite as powerful as a true portal of power, and so sometimes it was difficult. Had to keep positioning them on there in order to get them to actually scan. All right, so here I am at the beginning, right about now. Okay, so that took right at 1 minute and 14 seconds to scan through my entire digital library. All right, so what's the pros and the cons of that? The con is it takes 1 minute and 14 seconds if you literally want to play with the first character in your list. But at the same time, think about when you're in your living room and you're playing your game and all the other versions where you actually have to have the physical toy. How long will it take you to search through your box or all your shelves and dig through and get up out of your chair and walk across the room and grab the one that you want, make a decision on what you want, and then grab it, walk back over to the Portal Power, place it on, and get to play it? I'm going to argue it's not going to take you a whole lot less than a minute, to do that in some cases, unless you've already got them all pulled out, sitting right in front of you. Which, if your collection's too extensive, that's just not going to be possible. So, anyhow, it's 1 minute, to be able to choose a character is not that bad. But here we go. So, as I'm working through this, I was going to actually just show you and scan, go through here all together, and just show you that the very first thing that happens is all of the swappers from Swap Force, just the ones that swap, automatically get put at the very beginning of the library. And if you don't already know, you can see how the tops of them are colored in, but the bottoms are not. And that's because if you select one, it's then going to ask you, out of all the swappers, what bottom who you want to use, so you can actually choose your swap combination here, and it gives you the names of each and every one of them. So I initially selected Boom, and then, as the top, and then it's giving me the bottom, and I can choose, Boom Rise, Boom Charge, Boom Charge, Boom Shadow, Boom Loop, so forth and so on. And once I pick it, then it appears in the game.
Bombs away.
And so I can see the top half and the bottom half just the way I chose it, and we can play with them. One thing that does happen, as you can see here though, all swappers are reset to 0, and of course, but as far as coins, they are put in at level 20 automatically, so they're automatically leveled all the way up, but their upgrades are basically set at 0 as well, so you have to completely level them all up yourself all over again, which is, it kind of sucks if you've got them all leveled up all the way, but that's just what's going to happen. So going back into our digital library, I'm going to go ahead and go back to, fast forward up to the beginning again. Alright, so here we are back at the beginning, and like I said, all the swappers are here. I can just run through those real quick. Boom Jet, Free Ranger, Legendary Free Ranger, Rebel Rouser, Doomstone, Blast Zone, Dark Blast Zone, Fire Kraken, Jade Fire Kraken, Stink Bomb, Gorilla Drilla, Hoot Loop, Enchanted Hoot Loop, Trap Shadow, Magna Charge, Nitro Magna Charge, Spy Rise, Night Shift, Legendary Night Shift, Rattle Shake, Quick Draw Rattle Shake, Freeze Blade, Nitro Freeze Blade, Washbuckler, Dark Washbuckler, and that pretty much ends it. So here's where things get interesting. So as it turns out, there, according to a press release and some things mentioned, that the digital library should hold over 400 or at least 400 characters. I'm here to say it does not. At least mine doesn't. So I counted them up. It only will hold 324, and every time I add one, something gets deleted. And so here's what happened. I had, starting at this point here, my organization was to be, I was going to start at Swap Force. I'm sorry, not Swap Force, Spyro's Adventure. And I was going to scan all of my characters by name in alphabetical order, starting with Lightning Rod, and so forth, are just, but elemental order, and then alphabetically. And the elemental order that I chose was what these auto-populated as, because they forced them into a specific order. No matter what order you scanned them in, they ended up with, air at the beginning. You look up here, air at the beginning. Life, Earth was second, fire, next, life, magic, tech, undead, and water, and which were pretty much the elements alphabetically. So I was going to go ahead and follow that same format by the name of the character, not necessarily their extra descriptive words. So, for example, in air, Lightning Rod came before Sonic Boom, for example. Well, I had all, and I mean all, of my Spyro's Adventure scanned in, and they all appeared here in the digital library. As I started getting at the end of the list, and I was adding more, and I started adding my Eons Elite at the very end, it started deleting some of these characters, and not all of them. For example, it didn't take Lightning Rod away, but by now, all of the other air characters are gone. And some of the original Earth even characters that I had here, for example, the air ones, Sonic Boom, Warnado, and Whirlwind were all deleted. Regular Bash was deleted, and for some reason it skipped over Legendary Bash and deleted Dino Rang, and then Prism Break, but left Terrafin. So it's not even in necessarily right out of a row. I'm thinking because I selected and played with these more recently that it didn't delete those, and it's deleting the oldest ones that it's been since they've either been scanned in or played with, and it's deleting those first. But I've counted it up several times. I'd add several more, and several would get deleted, and that number has always stayed at a maximum of 324 characters in here. So as I'm looking, and you see that these are all gone, we're going to test it right now and see what happens. So let's go ahead and we see that we've got the first three that in Spyro's Adventure. We've got Lightning Rod, Legendary Bash, Terrafin, and Eruptor, and then Flameslinger. Okay, so those are all like the first five, and we're gonna add in a new Eon's Elite and see if any of these get disappear for any reason. So I'm gonna go ahead and select this Terrafin just because I know it's still there, or I'll go ahead and take this Legendary Bash just to get us toward the beginning faster. And as soon as he's on screen, I'm going to go ahead and go back into here where I've got this. And you can see the last Eon's Elite that I added was my Eon's Elite Boomer. But I'm going to add Eon's Elite, or attempt to add Eon's Elite Trigger Happy. Okay. See, it says Eon's Elite right down there. And scan it one more time. And of course, right there, it just says Trigger Happy. It's not saying Eon's Elite until you select it. Alright, so we've got him loaded in. And now we go back into this one more time. Alright, so there's our Eon's Elite Trigger Happy. Now I'm going to scan back up to the front again and see what we see. So here we go. Alright, so here we're back at the beginning of this Spyro's Adventure. There is Lightning Rod, Bash, that. Alright, look, who's missing? Eruptor? Yes, it took Eruptor out. So see, I added one and deleted one. So I don't know where that 400 characters figure came from that they said that you could save 400 figures, and why 324 is such an odd number to be able to actually save, but it's not allowing me to put anything in. Every new one I add is taking out another one. So if any of you are having a similar experience, I'd love to hear about it, or better yet, if you've been able to scan in more than 324. Now I know there aren't a lot of you that are going to have 324 Skylanders to scan in, or if any of you have many more, but I definitely have quite a bit more that I could scan in. I've got the balance of my, well, of course, all the Spyro's Adventure that have now been deleted, which I can't put back in order anymore, because that's the other bad thing about the digital library, is once you delete one, you want to put it back in, it's not going to be in order, and it doesn't let you rearrange your order to make sense out of it or to make it organized. It literally just stores them in the order you saved them in, or input them in, except for the swappers. So there's a lot of good features about the digital library, but this is, like, to me, it's kind of like a really major deal that Activision didn't put the time and effort into making this part of the game really user-friendly, I'm going to say. And perhaps maybe we'll get an update. I doubt it, but maybe that would be great if we got an update that would either allow you to expand and maybe hold up to 500. Because what if you got a bunch of of crystals and you want to store all those too, in addition to every character that they have? I mean, it only seems right that if you're paying money, you're buying and supporting their stuff, they at least include one more data slot, for all those extra characters. So maybe they should bump it up to hold at least 500. That way, even if you have every chase variant and everything else that's there, that you're able to scan it in and so forth, and have duplicates and triplicates if you're really wanting to like a character and you have so many versions of him, instead of having to decide which ones you're going to delete. So, but it's pretty neat, and what I'm going to do now, if you guys want to see it, feel free to skip ahead toward the end, but I'm going to just scroll through everything I do have scanned in. So keep in mind that Some of my Spyro's Adventures are missing, only because they've been deleted. But other than that, everything else is there. I've doubled and triple checked. And at the very end, there's a few of my Eon's Elites that aren't in, because if I scan more in, it'll keep deleting my Spyro's Adventures. So I'm kind of at a dilemma at this point. So I'm going to scan through here, but I'm just going to go through. I'm not going to say, you know, call out their names. I'm just going to scan them one by one and let you guys take a look. So here for just a moment or two, you can keep watching, and I'm going to be quiet. Here starts Spyro's Adventure. Here starts Giants. Oh, actually, take that back. What is this? There starts Giants right there. And as I'm scrolling through here, I mean, there are characters that sometimes it's like, oh my god, I forgot all about that guy or that character. If, you know, there's some that kind of fall into that category for you, let me know in the comments below. It's like, oh my god, I saw that. I've either been looking for that character, or that's my favorite one. So this is pretty much every character that's ever existed for Skylanders is in here. Again, with a few exceptions that got deleted. But there's one in here that you see that you've either really wanted really bad and you have never been able to get it, or it's just your favorite and you want to shout it out, you know, and let everybody else know which one is your favorite. Put it down in the comments below. I'd love to see that. I try to respond to as many of the comments that I can. And like I said, we're still going. We're currently in Swap Force. Now we're in Trap Team. We're in Superchargers now. There's our Nintendo guys. Donkey Kong. Thrillipede. And here we start Imaginators. These are the senseis. And at the very end, I have Wildstorm, who's out of his elemental order because I got him late and last, and of course then I've got Chaos. And then I started my Eon's Elites here. As I was putting these in, other ones were deleting, so as you can see, as far as I got was right here at Trigger Happy. And that's pretty much it for my digital library. That's got everybody in it. Anyway, guys, curious to hear what your thoughts are on this situation. If you do have any different experience than I have, I definitely would love to hear that. But pros, cons, otherwise, please for Activision to maybe make this a little better. It would be a great idea if they allowed us to reorganize, maybe even using the touch pad feature of the Nintendo Switch to be able to like drag and drop characters in other positions in different orders and stuff like that, like you kind of do with an iPad or an iPhone, would be fantastic. That would absolutely be cool. Or anything like that, and also increase the maximum number to at least a true 400 would be great. More than that would be fantastic, especially if someone's going to have 5, 10, 15, 20 Imaginite crystals, and be able to include those characters as well. So anyway, guys, just not such a short video, but wanted to kind of spell this out for everybody and see what you think. So this is Brian Lander with PortalPowerTV signing off. Take care and God bless.